Hi guys, welcome back to another very important video on Next.js 14 using app directory. In this video, I will be creating a new Next.js project from scratch, and I will show you how we can configure our project with continuous integration and continuous deployment. So this is the project and this is the repository I've already tested and it passed through the continuous integration. If I open this up, you can see that everything is past continuous integration. The linters, formatter, commit message formatting, pre-commit, husky, lint stage, all were gone through and everything is passed through continuous integration because my project is deployed on GitHub. Okay, so I will be using GitHub workflows, GitHub actions to process all these things. After this, I will show you how we can configure our project with the continuous deployment. So you can see that if I go back, everything got passed. This is, let me go back again. Let's go to the actions. And if I click on build and deploy, and if I click on deploy over here, you can see that it installed all the required dependencies. If I click on the build, it processed the build, then it deployed our application to the production URL. And for production URL, we can choose any platform. We can choose GitHub Pages, we can use AWS, we can choose Firebase, Azure, Heroku. But in this video, I will be using Heroku platform. And if I show you this URL, I tried deploying my Next.js project on GitHub Pages, but GitHub Pages does not support dynamic websites that include server-side rendering, pre-rendering, static pre-rendering, dynamic pre-rendering. That's why it did not load up all the fancy UI stuff which are added by default in Next.js homepage. This is the URL for the GitHub Pages, and this is the public URL which I have deployed already. I've tested it on my Heroku platform, and everything works well. So the reason I've not built any app in Next.js because this tutorial is all about CI/CD. If you want to learn what is Next.js, what are server components, what is client components, then let me show you that I have already created 40 plus videos on Next.js 13, Next.js 14, covering up all the crash courses, basics to advanced, theming, state management system, authentication, authorization, building projects, blog apps, e-commerce projects, and all these things. You can check out my playlist of Next.js 13 or 14 or other playlists as well. If I open up the playlists, and these are all the playlists I have, you can learn all the advanced technologies I have created. And one more thing I want to show you, if I open up this playlist for the Docker is pretty much relevant to the CI/CD. Okay, so you can see that I've already created this video on CI/CD pipeline with React, but in this video I have actually deployed React application on GitHub Pages because React generates all the static files when the build process gets completed, and that's why I have chosen GitHub Pages to deploy our React application. All right, and I would highly recommend you to learn Docker as well. I've already created 4 videos on Docker, configuring Next.js with Docker, configuring full stack MERN app with Docker, configuring React app with Docker. And if you are pretty much beginner, you can watch this video, Docker tutorial for beginners. What is Docker, how Docker works, and what are the different commands. So I'm putting a lot of effort, you can see, to create these videos for you guys. So it's really a request for you guys that it will really encourage me to create more videos if you subscribe my channel and like this video. And also I would request you guys to follow my WhatsApp channel, and in this channel I share quick updates about the tech and technologies, so you can get an idea, and you will be updated quickly through WhatsApp. All right, so let's get back, and I will be creating a new Next.js 14 project from scratch, and I will show you each and every step that I do to configure CI/CD in my Next.js project, starting from creating Next.js project up to the deployment in the Heroku platform. So I have opened up an empty folder in my VS Code, and in this folder I'm going to be creating a new project. So you can pretty much follow the same steps even if you are using other versions of Next.js. So let me first verify the version. So make sure that you have at least version 20 or maybe at least 18 version installed in your system. Okay, so I will start writing npx create -next -app at latest. Okay, and after that I will simply write dot because I don't want to create any new folder. for the Next.js. So it's automatically going to pick up the same folder name which I have already opened. So I will go with the TypeScript, Eslint, Tailwind CSS, source directory, yes. App router, yes, no for import alias. So it's going to download all the dependencies which are added in package.json files. So after it get installed, I will be installing few packages for my continuous integration. Like I will be configuring Eslinter, I will be configuring Prettier, I will be configuring commitlint. So whenever someone tries to commit the code or push the code on the GitHub repository, they will first have to fix all the standards that we have set for the linters and the formatters. And we can also set the commit message format as well. Okay, so it has been created. Now, first of all, I'm going to verify if everything works well. So I will run npm run dev. So it's going to run on localhost colon 3000. So let's verify if our project is working fine. So it's looking like it's working fine. Yes, it's working fine. So let's get started and install different packages that we would need to configure linters, formatters, and commit linters. So I will write npm install --save -dev. First one is the Prettier. Then I will write eslint -config -prettier. Then I will write eslint -plugin this is already done. I think these are enough. So after that, I will be installing husky and lint staged. So these are installed and its references should be added over here. You can see this is the Prettier and this is the eslint config Prettier. Okay, so once that is done, I'm gonna be installing few more packages. So npm install --save -dev husky and lint -staged. All right, so I'll hit enter. It's going to be installed as well. And I think I'm missing one more package. So there has to be config Prettier and plugin Prettier. Okay, so this is the config Prettier. Let me verify. Yes, I've installed Eslint config Prettier. I need to install Eslint plugin Prettier as well. So I will be adding over here. So I can write all these packages at once. I'm just showing you separately installing these plugins. So now Eslint plugin Prettier. So I'll hit enter. So this will be installed over here as well. All right, so all the required packages are installed. I have not yet installed commitlint, which I will be doing later on. So first of all, I'm going to open up this eslint rc.json file. Okay, currently, let me explain you what is eslinter. Actually, it forces us to fix the indentation of the code and all the rules that we set in these files, so that all the team members who are working on a particular project, including me, to follow the same coding structure that has to be consistent from all the developers. And now you might be confusing that we can configure the plugins in VS Code that can actually force us to keep on following these linter changes. But the thing is that not every developer will be using VS Code, and I might not be using VS Code later on in my project, and I sometimes can forget installing the plugins in VS Code. So to avoid all these risks, we have to configure continuous integration, and nobody should be able to commit or push the code without following the linters formatting standards that we have set for our code in our project. So this part is very, very important. So first of all, in this, I'm gonna be setting up few more rules. So currently there is only one rule set. I will be adding few more rules. In order to add that, I will have to add an array. So I'll be just copying all these things. So this were already added. I've added eslint recommended. Then I've added this Prettier. Then this is the next. Okay, and after that, since I've installed Prettier plugin, I will be adding the plugins within the array. So this is going to be Prettier. All right. So after that, I will have to set the rules. Rules can be any number of rules. In a real world, like a production level, big projects that I've worked on, sometimes I set the more than 50 rules in this particular object. But we are not building the Next.js application, CRUD app or e-commerce app. That is a different topic. You can learn it from my playlist of Next.js. I'm going to be setting only one rule, and this is going to be the prettier hyphen prettier. And then you can always follow Prettier documentation, official website of the Prettier, to see what are the different rules available over here. All right, so it will force the Prettier standards and rules in my code, okay, wherever I'm going to be writing. All right, so this has been set up. I'm going to close this file now. I'm going to be creating a new file. So this is going to be Prettier RC. All right, so then I will be creating another file. This is going to be, this is not required, but I'm just showing you that this is what we can create. Just like the git ignore, we can add the prettier ignore as well, so that whenever the prettier standards are set or enforced in our project, it should not include all the folders which are added in our project. Okay, so I will be adding these two files. Next, which is the build folder for the Next.js projects. This is the next. So I don't want to enforce or any kind of rules because these are the minified files, and I don't want to enforce the package log file in the Prettier. So these are added. You can add more files if you want. I'm just going to close that. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to be adding the Prettier RC. So I will just be adding few standards and rules which are recommended by the Prettier documentation. You can always check the online articles, and yeah, you can always ask ChatGPT as well. So these are some standards. So we can these are like always already meaningful what these are doing, what these will restrict us to write the code accordingly. Okay, so let's save it, and I'm just going to close this file. So once that is done, I'm going to open up this package.json file. So if I go up, you can see that this particular lint command is already added. I need to modify this command to only enforce the coding standard within the source folder, not the outside of it. Okay, but if you have some more folders, you can also add those folders over here. So I'm going to add the lint fix command as well. So if there are any errors related to linters, the developers can actually run lint fix command to fix all the errors. Then I'm going to add the format command. Okay, so let's first modify this particular lint command. Okay, so here I'm just going to remove everything. I will be using the Eslint. So let me copy paste that command. I hope that you can pause the video and write it down if you are building while watching the video. So Eslint source, you can write dot here. So dot means include everything, every file, every folder, every nested files added in our project. I don't want to do that. I only want to apply these rules within the source folder, and within the source folder, it's going to go through all the files that has extensions ts, tsx, js, and jsx. And after that, these are some flags that you would need to write. Okay, and after that, I will be adding the lint fix command. So if my pre-commit, if someone tries to commit the code, they face some kind of errors, like the indentation is wrong, you are missing the semicolon, you have couple of extra lines within the code which is not recommended, which makes the code looks really bad, then they can run this command lint fix, and this is going to run eslinter within the source folder with these extension files, and it's going to run this flag, and it's going to fix almost 99% of issues. Some issues that it recommends this command, you will need to manually open up that file and try to fix that issue, but most of 99% of the linter issues are fixed with this command. Okay, and one last command that I would like to add is for a prettier formatting. Okay, So let's add that, and this is going to run Prettier. Right is the flag, and it's going to go through all these files, HTML, CSS. You also might want to add SCSS files or SACSS files or other files as well, so that it can format the code according to the rules we have set in this file, the Prettier RC. All right, so once that is done, we can manually run these commands before committing and pushing the code. But yet we need to configure our code so that if we forget to run these commands and if we try to push the code, then it should enforce us that we forgot to run these commands. You need to fix these issues. So in the below, I'm going to add husky and lint stage pre-commit rules that will enforce us before we commit or push the code. But before, I want to initialize my project with Git and I want to push the code. The reason I'm doing it at this time because I want to show you that without configuring pre-commit in my project, if I commit my code, it will not pass through all the linters standards that we have added over here and all the configuration files that we have added. So first of all, I'm gonna go and create a new repository. So let's come here. I'm going to add Next.js 14 CICD. You can name anything, and I want to leave it public. You can make it private as well. But there are few features of GitHub that does not work on the private repository if we are on the free plan. So that's why I'm using public repository. It's up to you whichever you want to go with. I won't be selecting any of these because these files are already added in the project. So let's create this repository. After that, I will be following the steps which are showing over here, and I'm going to commit first of all. So here I will be adding all the files in the Git, and I will be committing with the first commit. I will hit enter. So if I commit these things, you can see that it has actually not passed through this lint commit formatter because I've not yet added pre-commit hooks. And now I can add the main branch. Let's add that like this, and then I will set the origin for the URL of my repository. So I've added that, and then I can copy this command to push my code on the main branch of my repository. So if I come here now, if I refresh this page, you will see that all the files of my Next.js project are added over here. Now let's come to package.json file, and inside it I will be adding those hooks. So first of all, let's add the husky, which I have already installed at the start of the project. And if not, you can install it like npm install --save -dev husky and lint staged. Now I will be adding a hooks key, and inside it also I need to add comma over here, and after that I need to add hooks. I can add hook for the pre-commit, pre-push. So I've added two of these things. So I will be testing the pre-commit. So pre-commit is going to run lint staged hook. So this is something which I yet need to add below. So I will be adding it like this. So lint stage is going to go through all the source files which are added in the source folder, having an extensions ts, tsx, js, and jsx, and it's going to run npm run lint, npm run format. So it's going to run these commands. So these commands are referencing these values. I hope you have an understanding about that. And here it will not still run through. I need to add the files that should exist to run these pre-commit. So in the terminal, I'm going to run few commands. First of all, I've already installed husky, and I have already installed lint stage npm packages up above that. You can see these are the two packages I have installed. Now I will first adding npx husky and then install. I will hit enter. So it's going to create a new file in my project. .husky, and inside it has added the git ignore. You can add anything inside it, and it has created this very important file husky.sh. This is the bash command file. And if you have an understanding about this sh files, you can modify it, but in our case we don't need to modify anything inside this file. Okay, and after that we need to add the lint staged file as well, means that we need to add a hook for pre-commit. We can add a hook for pre-push as well if you want, but I will be adding it for the pre-commit. So I'm adding one command in my terminal. Hope you can pause the video and write it down. So npx husky add .husky /pre-commit. So it means that it's going to create a new file with the name pre-commit within the .husky folder. And then I'm going to add this command, this inside this pre-commit file. So I will hit enter. So you can see that it has added this pre-commit file, and inside it has added the npx lint stage, whatever I added in the double quotes in my terminal. All right, so now things are configured, and in the terminal now I'm going to first of all check. So these are the files got changed. Now I would like to commit my code and push the code on my repository. But before doing that, it will not actually work. The reason is that I need to make changes in one of the files in the source folder, because these two commands, linters and formatters, work for the files inside only source folder. So I can make any file changed. So I can open up page.tsx. Let's add some constants. So here inside this text, let's add something like hello world. Okay, so this is added. Now in the terminal, if I check git status, you will see that this file exists in the source folder. Now let's try to commit my code. So git add all. Now I will be committing my code. So git commit -m. I will name it second commit, and I will hit enter. Keep watching that it will run linters and the formatters. So I'll hit enter, and now you can see that it is going through the source folder, and also it did not gone through the run format yet, because it found Eslint errors in one of my code. So it is restricting me that I cannot commit the code unless and until I resolve these issues. I can open up these files, layout.tsx file or any other file, and manually fix these issues. But you know that we have actually written a command, and I hope this command is going to fix 99% of the issues that this lint command shows up. Now we can manually run npm run lint :fix. I will hit enter. So it's going to fix those commands. Okay, so currently it has fixed all of these issues. If I manually run npm run lint, it will show only one error. Now I have tested it manually. This is something which is not automatically fixed by lint :fix. I have to manually go ahead and fix this error. So let's open up layout.tsx, and you can see that this is something, this is the error it is showing. So I need to import the React class. So let's import that. In fact up, so import React from React. All right, so this error is gone. Now let's save it, and now let's try to run npm run lint. So there are no errors now. Okay, so let me clear this out. Let me add it again, and now I'm going to commit it again now by running the same command. So I will hit enter. It's going to run through linters. Linters are passed, formatters are passed, and there are no linters or formatting errors in my code, and this configuration actually working fine through the pre-commit and the husky configuration that we have added. Now I can simply go ahead and push the code to the main branch. All right, let's go ahead and verify that if it has actually pushed. Yes, it has pushed. This .husky folder means that our changes are over here. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to add the configuration for the commit message rules, because this is very important. I don't want any of my team members, including me, to add some irrelevant commit messages, irrelevant length of commit messages. So I want to write any kind of rules. Okay, I will show you three rules that each commit message should be at least 20 character longs. It should start with the capital letter. It should end with the period or dot sign. Okay, but you can add in the configuration file any kind of rules that you want to set for yourself and for your team members so they can follow these rules before committing the changes. So let's install one npm package called commitlint. So I'm going to paste this line. You can copy it by pausing the video. So npm install hyphen hyphen save hyphen dev at commitlint / curly braces CLI comma and then config hyphen conventional close the curly braces. So these are two packages starting off with at commitlint. All right, so I will hit enter. So once it's getting installed, I just want to let you guys know that if you want any kind of development services from me, then you can contact me on LinkedIn. I've given the link of my LinkedIn profile in the description of this video. So these packages are installed and it should be added in the dev dependencies over here. So where is that? Yes, so commitlint CLI and commitlint config conventional. Now I want to run commitlint on the pre-commit configuration that I have already added. Okay, so for that I'm gonna be adding one new file inside .husky folder, and for that I'm gonna be adding one command in my terminal. You can again pause the video and you can copy it in your system. So npx husky add .husky / commit hyphen message, and then I'm adding the single quote npx hyphen hyphen no install commitlint edit and double quote $1 double quote, and then I don't need to actually add this thing, the last thing that was showing. So I will hit enter now. So now it is going to create this commit message. It is going to add this particular line which I added in that command in my terminal. All right, so one last thing I need to do to make it work is I need to add one configuration file to set the rules for the commit message. So for that I'm going to be creating a new file and it should be with the name commit commitlint .config.cjs. Okay, I will hit enter. So now inside this file it should be adding the module.exports equals to this object. First of all, we can import the built-in rules that are set by commitlint, but I don't want to import the built-in rules. You can check out its documentation. So to ignore the built-in rules, I can simply add the empty array. After that, I need to add the rules within this object. So there are three rules I want to set. First of all, I need to name these rules. So these are the name rules which I've added. First one is going to set that the length of commit message should be at least 20. Header case start with the capital letter, which I need to set yet using the regex, and then end with the period. Okay, so after that I need to add plugins which will be referring to these rules which I have set above. So this should start off with this and then array, and inside this array I'll be adding an object. Okay, so in this object I will be adding two rules. First rule was already set with the 20 letter. Next rules I need to set it like it. Okay, so these two rules, these keys are referring to the values which I have set above. So you can always check out the documentation and going through different articles, or this regular expression I got it. I asked ChatGPT to generate this regular expression and it helped me out. So this is how I got it. And this will be the error message shown if I'm not following the rules for starting any commit message with the capital letter. And this rule is going to give me this error. All right, so let's save this file. Now I can test it. I don't need to do anything else. So let's close all of these files, this one and this one as well. All right, so in the terminal, I'm going to write clear so that it becomes clear for us. And now before Actually, let me see. So currently it's showing these two files got changed and these two files got changed. Uh, for it to actually trigger all these rules which we have set in package.json file in the husky, we have to have files changed within the source folder, as I've already explained you. So for this, I'm going to just remove hello world which I added. Okay, so let's save it. And now let's verify that yes, this file got changed. Now these rules will get triggered. So I'm going to write git add, and now I'm going to make mistakes. Okay, I'm simply going to write hello world. It is not following any of the commit message rules that I have set using commitlint. So I will hit enter. Linters are passed, the formatters are passed, but this is not passed, and these are the error messages which are showing up. I need to fix it in the commit message. All right, so let's fix it by adding the dot and by adding the capital letter at start. I will hit enter. It should fix a couple of issues, but it should give me the error that it should not be shorter than 20 characters. All right, so let's fix that. Hello world, I am configuring my Next.js 14 project. So I will hit enter now. It should fix all of the three rules which I have set. All right, so our commit message is successfully done, and we are successfully following the rules for our project. And now let's push our code. So let's push it onto the main branch. I'm going to push it and it should be added over here. Let's verify that. Let's refresh it. Click on yes, so commitlint.config.cjs file is added, so it means our code is successfully pushed. All right, so we are done with the local setup. Now we need to set up continuous integration using GitHub workflows, GitHub Actions, and do subscribe my channel, guys, if you have learned something new up till now. So for CI/CD, let's first configure continuous integration. So inside my project, I first need to create a new folder. You cannot change its name since our repository exists on GitHub. If you are using GitLab, Bitbucket, or any other repository hosting provider, you might want to use any other folder name or the file name that they recommend. So you need to research on that. So now I'm going to create another folder within GitHub. We cannot change these names which are suggested by GitHub. So if we push our code, this will be read by GitHub automatically, .github and the workflows. Inside it, what GitHub recommend us for CI, for continuous integration, is to create CI file.yml, and this file name again might be different for other repository hosting providers. Okay, so inside the CI, which will be automatically read by our GitHub, first of all we need to add the name. Okay, and we can write anything over here. All right, so after that we need to trigger an actions. What actions I want to run the continuous integration on? It can be on push, it can be on pull request, and we can select specific branches that will be used to run the continuous integration. So first of all, this is how we can add a comment. It doesn't make any difference. It is just for our understanding. On means that this CI configuration should be run on push and pull request on any branch on our repository. And just for your understanding, if you want to specify different branches, you can write this code. On push, you can write an array of all the branches, and on pull request, you can write an array of all the branches. Okay, so it's giving few errors. The reason is that I have to add jobs. So I will be adding jobs. You can see that these errors are gone. Now in the jobs, first we need to build our project on the GitHub Actions, and one of the most famous way to build the project is to write build, and I need to write runs on. And I usually write Ubuntu latest, whatever the latest version of Ubuntu, I write it over here. Okay, so after that I add steps. Okay, So then I add a hyphen and we need to use uses. This keyword is very important. And whatever value we set within the uses are predefined in GitHub Actions. You need to refer the GitHub marketplace to know that which GitHub action we can actually choose. Okay, so first step is to that we need to check out with the actions. And it might have a different variants. You can refer the marketplace. After that, we can actually write with, okay, and with it we can write fetch depth colon 0. This is particular thing is actually required by commitlint. If we don't write it, it will throw an error that we cannot read the commit message format. Okay, now we have to use another name. Now these names are very important. We can write any values inside it. So first of all, we need to configure node variant. Okay, so I'm going to add the node variant over here. So in the name I have written this, and after that I'm actually using this thing, this action for the setting up node, and then I'm using this with keyword. There seems an error. This is these are some indentation errors, so we can write it like this. Okay, indentation is very important in YML files. All right, so these are indented, and after that we need to install the dependencies first of all, which we have added in package.json file. Okay, without installing the dependencies we will not be able to run npm commands, npm or any other linter, eslinter commands which we have added over here. So GitHub Actions needs to have all these dependencies in order to run linters or prettier commands which we have added. Okay, so here in order to install linter, we can first define the name. So we have defined the name like this, just like above, and then we have actually run npm install. Okay, so after that we can run linters and formatters like this. All right, we can write anything to it and it will showing up in GitHub Actions when this process is going to run, and write the meaningful names over here. And these are the commands that is going to run linters and then the formatters. And lastly, we need to run that commit message using commitlint form, that configuration that we added. So this is something which I've added. So check commit messages, and this uses again is defined by GitHub, and you can check out the GitHub marketplace. So let me quickly show you how the GitHub marketplace looks like. So GitHub marketplace. So this is for GitHub. If you are using other providers for repositories, you can refer their documentations. So here you can see if I click on the continuous integration, it's giving us different things for continuous integration. So if I write, let's say commit lint, hit enter, and you can see that it is giving us different things. So let's click on that. All right, so you can see you can refer these documentation, try different things based upon your requirements. All right, I actually checked one of these things and got this uses value. All right, so I'm going to save this file. First of all, let's go to this repository and click on this actions. You can see that there are no actions history run before when we push the code, I think 2 to 3 times. Okay, because there are no GitHub workflow files we pushed before. Now I'm going to first check GitHub status. Yes, there is only one folder. So I'm going to add git add dot. So all the files added. Let's clear this out. Now let's commit our code. So let's add meaningful code. This is the benefit of it. We always want to add. So added capital letter, added GitHub workflows in my project for ci dot. I will hit enter. So again, it's going to go through. Actually, it didn't go through. The reason is that there is no change in the source folder. All right. So now I'm going to push the code to the main branch. All right, so it is pushed. Now let's go to the code, and the GitHub folder is added over here. All right, now I first want to refresh it, and I want to go to this actions tab. And now you can see that this particular action is running. If I click on it, we will see all the names that we added in ci.yml file is going to run. Okay, so first is pull this out, running node, installing dependencies. Then it should run linter, formatter, check the commit message that we have added, and it is going to, I think, passed all these checks that we have added. And yes, it has actually passed these, and there is a green tick icon, so we have successfully added CI. So one question you might have come in your mind, that if we are restricting user to follow all the linting rules or the Prettier rules or the commit message rules, then why are we again checking on the GitHub Actions? The reason is that people can merge the code directly in this dashboard of the GitHub. They can add commit messages on the GitHub as well, and when they merge their code in merge PRs in one branch to another branch, there can be conflicts comes in, and there can be indentation errors. So these kinds of reasons we have to set up CI, and the CI is very important to actually gone through all the different linting formatting rules that we enforce in our project to maintain the quality and standards of code in our project. All right, so currently we are done with the CI. Now one of the most important part is the CD is continuous deployment, and we are going to configure Heroku. We are going to set up secrets for that. So for that, I'm going to be creating another file inside it. So this is going to be deploy.yml. This is recommended by GitHub Workflows because for deployment, this is what GitHub Workflow is going to read when we push the code on the GitHub repository. All right, so let's first add the name. So I will start off with writing name. So I can name it build and deploy to Heroku. All right, so I will add a space, then add this on. I can add push, and I can give the branches names. I can add the branches within array, or if we have only one branch, we can simply write main. Okay, so after that, I needs to add the jobs. Okay, so inside the jobs, as you have already aware that we need to first set it like this, build and deploy and runs on Ubuntu latest. Okay, but in CI we actually wrote build only. Okay, so now I'm going to add different steps now. So steps, and first one is the uses actions, which is going to be actions/checkout at version 2. Okay, so after that I can add with I can add the persist credentials equals to false, because we will be using Heroku, and when the deployment process is going on, it asks us to add the credentials, like the user credentials of our account, the email, the password. So this is going to persist the credentials equal to false, means that we are going to be using the Heroku API key for our account, so we don't need to add the email or the credentials for that. Okay, so after that I need to install node, because again we need to install all the dependencies. All right, so here we will be adding this name, and this is going to be used like this. All right, so there seems some kind of error, so we need to add these spaces before these. All right, so errors are gone. Now we need to install the dependencies and build our project. When we run our Next.js 14 project locally, you have seen that it creates .next folder, and the same folder is going to be used by Heroku. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna be using this name. Okay, install dependencies, npm install build, and then it's going to build the project again, and it's going to create .next folder. Now we can actually deploy to the URL. We can write the name, any name, build and deploy. It can be production URL, it can be staging URL, or anything you want to add. So after that, there is one more thing that we can use. We can add if conditions as well. If we have different URLs for staging, different URL for development, or different URL for production. So this is not actually required, but just to show you that how does it look like, it's actually look like this. Okay, let's add space after that, like this. And it is showing that when we are pushing the code in the main branch, then do whatever we are going to write after that. So if we are deploying to the staging URL, we are going to add the whole thing again below. But this is something which I'm not going to do in this video. This is the video for beginners. So then again, uses is very important. And for deployment to Heroku, I got this particular uses string from the GitHub marketplace. Okay, you can use this one. And then we need to use with. Okay, and what Heroku marketplace provides us for deployment to Heroku, three things. Okay, so this is what I have already added over here. So these are the three things I have added. Heroku email, this is something which we need to provide over here. We need to set in our GitHub repository. Okay, and Heroku API key is again we need to set in GitHub repository. This is the app name that we need to provide, which I'm going to show you how we can create that. For now, we are done with adding everything in our deploy.yml file. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to open up heroku.com website on your browser, and you need to sign up on this website with your email address. It might ask you to confirm your email ID, and it might ask you to add two-factor authentication as well. And once you are done with creating your account successfully, you need to go to actually dashboard.heroku.com. Okay, and then you can click on this home icon, and here I have already have this one app already added, and you can add new apps. And I'm going to click on new, and I can click on create a new app. Okay, so here I can actually name the app. So Next.js 14 CICD, you can name anything you want. Okay, and then we can actually choose the region. I'm gonna go with the Europe. So currently it will show some kind of option here that we need to add over card details. So there are all the major cloud platforms like AWS, Heroku, they ask you to add your credit card, debit card, or MasterCard on their websites. They will not charge you, but for a security purpose, so that bots may not interact with their platform, they ask you to add different card details. So they will only charge you if you have the live users, a lot of users and a lot of traffic starts coming in on your website. Okay, for development you can add card, it will not charge you anything, but for security purpose they ask you to add the card details even on AWS, Amazon web services as well. I've already added that, that's why it's not showing. So I'm going to click on the create app. So it's going to create this app, and this is the name that it has given to me. We don't need to do anything over here since we are using the continuous deployment. If we were using manual deployment, we could use all these steps to deploy over website. Okay, but we don't need to do that. First of all, this is the name. Okay, first of all, let's click on open app. Okay, so this is welcome to the new app. Our Next.js app is not deployed yet. This will be the URL in which our app will be deployed, but this is the default UI that it gives us with the URL. So this is the name first of all, which I need to copy, and I need to add the name of my app over here. Okay, so this has been added. Now I need to copy this Heroku email key, which I need to go to my repository, go to settings, and I'm gonna go to the secrets and the variables, click on action, and I'm gonna go to this secrets tab, repository secrets, new repository secret. I'm going to add exact name which I have added in deploy.yml file. After that, I need to provide my email address which I have used to create my Heroku account. Okay, make sure you don't add any space after that. So this has been added. Okay, now I need to copy the same name, Heroku API key, and I need to add this one over here, and I'm going to add it. For the value, we can go over here, we can click on this account settings on the Heroku dashboard. If I go down, this is the key, API key, which I need to copy. I'm not going to reveal it because it's on my own account. You can reveal it and copy it on that GitHub repository over here. So I'm just going to pause the video and I'm just going to copy it. So here you can see that I have added both the secrets over here. All right. And we can go to the home page, don't save. And this is the app name that we have created and we have already configured. Let's go inside this app, and it gives us all these deploy matrices, how many users are coming in, and all these settings. So first of all, I'm going to go and I'm going to push my code. I don't think I need to do anything else. So let's try this out now. So I'm going to first verify git status. Let's clear this out. Let's go up, and I'm going to add this one, git add. And now I'm going to add the commit message. So adding with flow for deployment. All right. So let's add the commit message. So it's going to pass this out, and then I'm going to add the push command origin and then the main. Okay, so this is pushed. Let's click on the actions now. It's going to run two things. First one, it's automatically going to run the continuous integration. I hope it is going to get passed because it was already passed that we tested before. And the main thing is this build and deploy to Heroku. Okay, so let's open up on another tab to keep on looking that what's happening. It's currently installing the dependencies. It's currently building this. So let's see if it's successfully built. So compiled successfully, it must have created .next folder that we have locally in our project. All right, so currently build is done. It's currently deploying it. So let's see guys if it successfully deploys our project or not. And I hope that it's going to deploy because I've already tested these configuration before creating this video. So let's wait for this. I'm gonna go over here. So we can go to the resources. We can see all these things that are happening in our project on Heroku. Heroku, we can use it for deploying the backend Node Express MongoDB project as well. So it's quite awesome. It is backed by Salesforce platform. Okay, so let's see this one. It's still deploying. Now we can see all the matrices, we can see the activities, what's happening. So here it's also showing that build in progress. So we have successfully synced our GitHub repository with Heroku, and it's currently processing. So we have this access, I have the access. We can add more collaborators in Heroku, and we can change the settings as well for this product. We can change the name, we can add the configuration variables and all these things. Okay, and one more thing that if you have your custom domain, you can add your custom domain over here, and for that you need to configure the DNS. This is another topic. If you might have purchased your new domain from AWS or the HostGator or GoDaddy, you will need to add the DNS settings over there and add your custom domain over here. Your app will be deployed to that custom domain automatically, and you can go through its documentation how we can do that. All right, so let's see. All right, so it's showing the green icon, and seems like our app is successfully deployed. So now let's go over here. Let's go to the overview. This is the deploy tab, and I'm gonna click on the open app now again. All right, let's see. All right, guys, this is awesome. Our Next.js app is successfully deployed on Heroku using the continuous deployment workflow using GitHub Actions, and we are done with it. All right. One more thing I want to let you know, if you are just learning it for development, go to this overview, this source. Where is that? I'm just figuring out. So metrics, activity access, and these settings. I just wanted to show you one thing. Yes. All right. So this resources, currently it is set to this $0.010 are expected to be charged from your account per hour. But if you have tested it, your app is successfully deployed, you have learned how things are working, you still want to keep it over here. Okay, and you don't want to delete the apps from Heroku platform, you can click on this edit, you can just click on it and you can confirm it, and it will not be live now because it will charge the $0 per hour. Okay, and if I click on here, and it will not be working anymore, so nothing will be charged, because you have learned how to deploy using CI/CD on Heroku platform using the GitHub repository, using GitHub workflows or actions, whatever you want to say. All right. So I hope that you have learned something new. I'm putting a lot of effort building these videos for you guys. Do subscribe. I'm just asking you, if you subscribe my channel, it will really encourage me to make more videos for you guys, because more subscriber means that I will have more people to watch my videos and they will be able to learn more from my videos. So next I will be creating another video on CI/CD, and in that video I will be configuring a full stack project, maybe first a backend project like Node, Express and MongoDB, and I will be deploying that project on Heroku. So let me know in the comment below what you want me to do in the next video in terms of deployment, continuous integration, continuous deployment, along with the Docker configurations as well. I've already created videos on that. I want to combine both of these concepts like Docker and the CI/CD concepts, and I want to show you the whole deployment process. So thank you so much for watching, guys. See you in the next video.